Hello, everyone. My name is Adair, and happy Sabbath to you. Thank you again for coming here and joining me today again, another Bible lesson. And I am happy to go to see another week and to be here to use this platform to bring the Word of God and message to you all. And I hope you all had a good week and it was a blessing week. I hope you had a good Memorial Day, and I'm glad to be here again with you all again. And I appreciate you coming to watch this channel and to be blessed by it, and to hear to hear some good message. Again, my name is Adair, and I'm here to bring another good topic from you on one of my favorite topics. Of these lesson series I'm going to be doing. This is one of my favorite topic. And before I do continue, just want to um, address what happened this week with Mr. George Floyd. What happened? He was senselessly killed by the police, and um, I saw the video myself, and it was disturbing. What happened to him? He didn't deserve to die at all. And with all the what's going on in the world of protests, now I understand people are angry, and rightfully so to protest and anger. I myself now angry and disturbed by it. What happened? Uh, right now, I'm going to just pray for the uh, for uh, for Floyd family that they get justice for George because he needs justice. I'm praying, go pray for them that they get justice for George Floyd, that he deserves justice. He should have not died at all. And I'm going to go pray for them each and every day. And before we do, let's just get a quick moment of silence. Thank you. Today I'm going to be in a good topic from you. One of the topic is one of my favorite person of the Bible. His name is Joseph. Before I continue, last week we talked on the subject of um, God and relationship. We learned about putting God first in a relationship, and asking so God could guide a relationship, so a relationship could grow strong and healthy. And we also talk about the effect of infidelity, the consequences, how it affect us, relationship, and how it also affect our families, our brothers and sisters, friends, and even children. And we also talk about what to do when you're in an abusive relationship. And we talk about being honest and holding each other accountable last week. And today, the title of this message is "Color of Cult." I chose this title because it's fitting. Because it's about Joseph. He's one of my favorite person in the Bible. He's in the Old Testament. You wonder who's Joseph? Yep, he's in the Old Testament. He is the son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. He's the grandson of Isaac and great grandson of Abraham. I love this story because this is a story of Jacob of redemption, forgiveness, and also showing by staying faithful to God, you know that God will redeem you. And I love this story. So today I'm going to I have the link of the in the description of the PowerPoint. It's going to be a good story. I'm going to tell the story about Joseph. I'm going to tell the story about Joseph. You're going to learn about him and what he went through. Man, in the Bible, that's one of the most disturbing things what happened to him in the Bible. I mean, all people to seek revenge, he had every reason, but we're going to learn how Joseph handled it. And before we do, let's say a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you again for this day. Thank you again for another week. Thank you again for bringing me here and this Sabbath day and to use this platform to bring your words and your message. And I pray, bless those who are watching that they will be blessed by it. They'll tell their friends, their sibling, their parents, or wherever, Lord, to use this to come and listen to this message, to be blessed by it. Oh, Lord, I pray, Lord, also bless the Ford family right now. Yeah, they're grieving, Lord. I pray for justice for them. I pray, Lord, oh Lord, you know what's going on in the world. You're coming back soon, Lord. We pray, Lord, when the day you come back and make all things right. Thank you again for this day. And just what's operating. Amen and amen. So yeah, let's just tell the title. The message is Color of Coat. Now let's begin. The color of coat. So this is a story about Joseph. Joseph, the Bible story of Joseph from the book of Genesis is one of heroic redemption and forgiveness. Joseph was the most loved son of his father, Israel, given the famous robe of many colors. When Joseph reported having dreams of his brothers, and even the stars and moon bowing before him, their jealousy of Joseph grew into action. The brothers sold him into his brothers sold him into slavery to a traveling caravan of Ishmaelites who took him to Egypt, sold him to Potiphar, the captain guard. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. This is an account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the son of Belha and the son of Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, because he had been born to him in his old age, and he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak kind word to him. So the brothers, they had animosity toward Joseph because say, hey, our father loves us. We're older. Why does he love him more than us? Joseph had a dream, and when he told to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, and when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, when your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. His brother said to him, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us? And they hated him all the more because of his dream. And what he had said, that then he had another dream, and he told to his brother, listen, he said, I had another dream. This time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bound down to me. When he told his father, as well, his brother and his father rebuked him and said, what is this dream you had? Will your mother and I, your brother, actually come bow down to the ground before you? His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Now his brother has gone to graze their father flocks near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, as you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I'm going to send you to them. Very well, he replied. He said to them, go and see if all is well with your brothers. When the flock and bring word back to me. Then he sent them off the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, when Jacob arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around the field and asked him, what are you looking for? He replied, I am looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks? They have moved on from here, the man answered. I heard they say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance. Before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. His brothers plotted. They saw Joseph from a distance, were like, They said, let's kill him. And they said, here comes a dreamer. They said to each other, come on now, let's kill him, throw him into one of these cisterns. And they say that a furious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dream. When Reuben, the oldest, he's the oldest of all of them, heard this, he tried to rescue him from their ends. Let's not take his life, he said. Reuben, he's the oldest of all of them. He said, "No, we're not going to kill our brother. Are you crazy? What are you doing?" He said, "Do not shed any blood." You know. Instead, they threw him into the cistern here in the wilderness. But don't lay on him. Reuben said, "Do not lay hand on him." Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brother, hey, he's waving, "Hey, brothers," as they took him and stripped him off his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. The cistern was like a big well hole. There was no water in it. It's like the cistern was like a big well where they put water in it, but there was no water. It was empty. They sat down and to eat. They sat down, let him down there. They let him down there all day long. They ate the meal. The Lord saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming, from the Gilead. He was like, "Hey, Ishmaelites!" The caravan, their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh. And they were on their way to take them to Egypt, to sell and trade. Judah said to his brother, one of the brothers said, "What will we get if we kill our brother and cover up his blood?" And he said, "Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelite, not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother. Our own flesh and blood," his brothers agreed. So I said, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it." So when the Midianite merchant came by, his brother pulled Joseph up out of the cistern. So they got a rope and they pull him out. They sold his brother for 20 shekels of silver. They sold their own brother for 20 silver. Sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 silver. The Ishmaelite took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, so Joseph left. When they pulled Joseph from that cistern, Reuben left. He left. Louis, I'll be back. And he saw that Joseph was not there, and his clothes was torn. He thought, "Hey, that killed said, Reuben." He probably thinking, "Wait, you killed Joseph?" He went back to his brother and said, "The boys in here. Where can I turn out?" Then they got Joseph's robe slaughtered and go and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the only robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine to see whether it is your son's robe." And immediately Israel recognized it. "It is my son's robe. Some fierce animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Joseph was heartbroken. His son, his only son, his son he loved the most was killed by their life. They still their father and said he was killed by a wild animal. So Jacob, who was heartbroken, tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his head and mourned for Joseph for many days. Yeah, he was heartbroken. His son he loved, the most, tore his clothes, took sackcloth and put on his head. And he mourned for many days. So all his sons and his daughters came to comfort Joseph. They came to comfort Jacob. But Jacob refused to be comforted. He said, "I will continue to mourn my son until I join my son in the grave." So his father wept for him. He wept and wept. Can you imagine, what the brothers done? Like they've broken their father's heart. He mourned for Joseph. So later on, the Midianites sold Joseph into Egypt to Potiphar. Potiphar he's one of Pharaoh's officials, captain of the guard. So he's one of Pharaoh's top officials, captain guard. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. Potiphar, an Egyptian who was one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard, bought him from the Ishmaelites. So they trade Joseph, and they bought him from Ishmaelites. But the Lord was with Joseph, so that he prospered. So that the Lord was Joseph. Joseph prospered. Joseph prospered, and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. So Joseph was the Lord. So with all this, Joseph prospered. The Lord blessed Joseph. He was with Joseph. Joseph prospered. When the master saw the Lord was with him, and that the Lord gave him success in everything he did, Joseph found favor in his eyes and became an attendant. So the master Potiphar saw Joseph, wow, he's a good worker. He said, everything I give him, he's successful, he's done it. So Potiphar put him in charge of his household. So he put Joseph in charge of everything in his household. I mean, can you imagine the mansion, everything, big house like that, Joseph's in charge of this and that. He's in charge of all the rest of the slaves and, pretty much make sure the house is in order. And he entrusted to care everything he owned. From the time he put in charge of his household and all that he owned, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was in everything Potiphar had, both in the house and in the field. So Potiphar left everything he had in Joseph's care. With Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. So Joseph was a handsome guy. Oh yeah, he was built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and she said, come to bed with me. Yeah, Potiphar's wife, came on to Joseph and said, come and live with me. Joseph said, no. Joseph refused. He said to her, with me in charge, with me in charge, he told her, my master does not concern himself with anything in the household. Everything he owns, he entrusted me to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then can I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? Joseph said to her. And though she spoke to us day after day, so day after day she's spoken to, day after day she's relentless, going after Joseph, lay with me. He refused. He refused to go to bed with her, even be with her. One day he went to the house to attend his duties, and none of the household servant was inside. She caught him off guard and got him by his cloak and all these, and said, come to bed with me. But because of that, Joseph didn't know what he did, so he ran off. When he ran off, the cloak came off of him. It tear. She had a good grip, so he went off and it tear. When she saw that, she was furious. She was mad. She said, oh, I can't believe he did that. When she saw that he left his cloak in his hand and how run out of the house, she called house. So she said to this, she called house, she screamed, she yelled, she called everyone else and said, she said to look, she said, look, this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport out of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. So she lied. She said, well, this Hebrew came here, trying to get me to live with them, and I refused. When I screamed, he ran away. She said when he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house. She kept his cloak beside her until Potiphar came home. And she told him this story, that Hebrew slave you brought us came to make sport of me. But as soon as I screamed for him, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house. So when Potiphar heard this, this is how your slave treated me, he burned. So Potiphar was angry. He was angry. And he said, this is how you treated me? He burned with anger. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison. So because of that, he sent Joseph to prison for something he didn't do. The place where the king's prisoners were confined. But while Joseph was there in the prison, God was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eye of the prison guard, of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge because God was with Joseph through all this. Joseph gained favor with the warden. And he put Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison. And he was made responsible for all that was done there. The warden paid no attention to anything under Joseph's care because the Lord was with Joseph and gave him success in whatever it is. So no matter what Joseph was going through, the Lord was with him. God was with him. God blessed him and made him successful at it. excuse me. Sometime later, so time later, the cupbearer and the baker, the king of Egypt, offended the master, the king of Egypt. Pharaoh was angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and put them custody in the house of the captain of the guard in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph and he attended them. After they had been in custody for some time, each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker, the king of Egypt, who were being held in prison, had a dream. So they had a dream one night, they had a dream. And each dream had a meaning of its. When Joseph came to them the next morning, Joseph was in charge, the prisoner. He's walking, just doing his check, checking, make sure, making sure everything is going good, make sure that he need anything. He saw they were stressed. So he asked Pharaoh's official, where in custody with him, his master's house, why do you look so sad today? They said, we both had a dream, but there is no one to interpret them. Then Joseph said to them, do not interpretation belong to God? Tell me your dream, he said to them. God just said, your interpretation belongs to God. Through God, I can't interpret your dream. So he said, tell me your dream. So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said to him, in my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were three branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and it clustered, ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. I took the grapes, squeezed into them, Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand. This is what it means. So Joseph said, this is what he means. Joseph said, this is what it means. The three branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position. And you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. But then Joseph said to him, but when all goes well with you, please remember me and show me kindness. He said, please remember me, mention me to the Pharaoh because I am innocent. I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews. Even here, I have done nothing to deserve this. So he told the cupbearer, when you leave and go back to your normal position, please remember me because I've done nothing wrong. I was taken from our land, and I'm here in prison for something I didn't do. Now the chief baker saw that Joseph had given a favorable. So the baker was like, wow, okay, all right. So he said, I had a dream too. So Joseph said, okay, tell me your dream. And he said, on my head were 3 baskets of bread. In the top basket were all kind of baked goods for Pharaoh. But the birds were eating them out of the basket of my head. Then Joseph said, the 3 baskets are 3 days also. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head and impale your body in a pole. And the birds will eat your flesh. So this was not good news for the chief baker. He said that you're going to be sent to death. So he said that in 3 days, Pharaoh will take you. You'll be sent to death where the bird will eat your flesh. Now the 3rd day was Pharaoh's birthday. And he gave a feast for all of his officials. He lifted up the heads of the chief cupbearer, the chief cupbearer, the chief baker, in the presence of his official. He restored the chief cupbearer, like Joseph said he would. And so that once again put the cup into Pharaoh's hand. So he did that. So what Joseph interpreted his dream came true. Exactly like Joseph said, you're going to be restored, and he gave Pharaoh the cup. But the chief baker, as Joseph has said, was sent to death. The chief cupbearer had, after some time, the chief cupbearer, we know what happened. He forgot about Joseph. Can you believe that? Joseph did this for him, and he forgot about Joseph. So 2 years passed. Pharaoh had a dream, disturbing. He had a dream that's been bothering him. He was standing by the Nile. The stream was, he was standing by the Nile. Out the river, there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After then, 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came out of the Nile and stood beside those in the riverbed. The cows that were ugly gone out and ate the 7 healthy cow. Then Pharaoh woke up. He woke up from his dream. He's like, okay, like woke up, like, like just woke him up. He fell asleep again. He had a second dream. The second dream, 7 head of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, fanning and scorched by the east wind. Then 10 heads of the grain swallowed up the 7 healthy full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up again. He woke up again, startled. It had been a dream. In the morning, his mind was troubled. Pharaoh, this dream was like, he's like, what does this dream mean? So this dream been bothering him. No one could interpret this dream for him. Not even his sorcerers or his, what it's called, what they called, I forgot they're called, his magician, could interpret his dream. Then the chief cupbearer remembered. He said to Pharaoh, I am reminded of my shortcoming. Pharaoh was once angry with his servants. He imprisoned me, and then the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had a dream. That's what the chief cupbearer sent to Pharaoh. The same night, and each dream had a meaning its own. Now a young Hebrew was there, a servant of the captain of the guard. We told him about a dream, and he interpreted from them for us, giving each man the interpretation of his dream. And thanks to not exactly how he interpreted them to us, I was restored to my position, and the other man was impaled, was sent to death. So Pharaoh's like, okay, send me Joseph, bring me here. He sent for Joseph. And Joseph was quickly brought to Pharaoh. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, so pretty much they got Joseph. He shaved his head, his clothes. He came before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, Joseph, I had a dream, no one can interpret it. But I have heard it say of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. I cannot do it, Joseph said. Replied to Joseph, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. So Joseph said, I cannot interpret it. It's through God. He will give me the answer. Then Pharaoh said, in my dream, I was sitting in the bank of the Nile. When out the river, they came up 7 cows, fat and sleek, and they grazed among the reeds. After then, 7 other cows came out, scrawny and very ugly and lean. I had never seen such ugly cows in all the land of Egypt. The lean, ugly cow ate up the 7 fat cows that came up first. But even after they ate them, no one could tell that they had done so. They looked just as ugly as before. Then I woke up. And then he said, in my other dream, I saw 7 head of grain full and good, growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other sprouted, withered, and then scorched by the east wind. The 10 heads of grain swallowed are the 7 head of the 7 good heads. I told this to the magician, but none of them could explain it to me. The Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years. The 7 good head of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 ugly cows that came up were 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain scorched by the east wind. There are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. So So Joseph 21st, this is what God is telling you. He's showing you what he's about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming through the land of Egypt. So seven abundance of so for 7 years, Egypt's going to be filled with food, grain. Now it's going to be fulfilled. It's going to be filled with so much. But 7 years of famine will follow after, and all the benefits will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. Joseph said, the abundance of land will not be remembered because the famine that far will be so severe. So Joseph said the 7 years of plenty of abundance will not be remembered because the famine will be so severe. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh was to form that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. And now let Pharaoh look for discerning of wise men. He said, look for someone and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. And let Pharaoh appoint commissioner over the land to take a fifth of the harvest of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the fruit of these goods to be kept in the cities for food. This food should be held and reserved for the country to be used during the 7 years of famine that will come upon Egypt, so that the country may not be ruined by the famine. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh. So Pharaoh was like, So Pharaoh was impressed. He's like, okay, okay. You know. So Pharaoh asked them, can we find anyone like this man in whom is the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh said, Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one wise as you are. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, you will be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne that I will be greater than you. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Joseph became the second, can you imagine, second most powerful man in Egypt by Hebrew. The second most powerful man in Egypt. Can you believe that? Like Joseph said in his dream, to his brothers and his dad and his father. Joseph became the second most powerful man in Egypt. So Pharaoh took his signet ring and from his finger, he put it on Joseph's finger. So Joseph said, here's my ring to show that you are the second most powerful man. He dressed him in robes of fine linen. So Joseph was dressed in fine linen robes and put gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in a chariot as the second in command. And people shouted, make way. Thus he put him in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, but without your word, no one will lift or hand or foot in all Egypt. Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zephanath Penah and gave him Asenath, daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, to be his wife. So Joseph, he gave Joseph Potiphar's daughter, the priest, and said, here, she is your wife. And Joseph married her. And Joseph went through the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh king. 30 years old. Or 30, a young man like that became so powerful. The second powerful man in Egypt. And Joseph went out from Pharaoh's presence and traveled throughout Egypt. During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentiful. Egypt stored in the cities. In each city, he put the food grown in the fields surrounding it. Joseph stored up huge quantity of grain, like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping record because it was beyond measure. So much food. Joseph couldn't keep record, so he couldn't keep record of it. Before the years of famine came, 2 sons were born. Joseph by Asenath's daughter, or Potiphar priest. Joseph named his sons firstborn Manasseh. They said, because God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household. The second son he named Ephraim and said, it is because God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. The 7 years of abundance has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. The 7 years of abundance in Egypt came to an end. The 7 years of famine began. Just as Joseph had said, there was famine all over the land, but the whole land of Egypt there was food. But all Egypt began to feel the famine. The people cried to Pharaoh for food. Then Pharaoh told all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph and do what he tells you." When the famine had spread over the whole country, Joseph opened the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was so severe throughout Egypt. And the whole world, so the whole world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph because famine was so severe as ever. So the whole world came to Egypt because there was so much, there was famine, there was no food. If the whole world here that Egypt prepared, there was so much food. So the whole world came and they bought food from Egypt. So back in the land of Canaan, when Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his son, "Why do you just keep looking at each other?" He continued, "I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go there and buy some for us so that we may live and not die." Then 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt, but Jacob did not send Benjamin. Benjamin is the youngest. Like, Joseph was the youngest. Benjamin, when Joseph left, sold to Egypt, Benjamin was just a baby. When Joseph was sold to Egypt by his brother, Benjamin was just a baby, like literally a baby, an infant. Benjamin Joseph's brother with the others because he was afraid that harm might come to him. So because Jacob lost Joseph, he was afraid, no, Benjamin's gonna stay. I'm afraid you get hurt. No, you're not staying, you stand here. So Israel's sons were among those who went to buy grain. So Joseph's brothers, went to buy grain, and there was famine in the land of Canaan also. So Canaan was they also suffered. They were not spared for this famine. Now Joseph was the governor of the land, the person who sold grain to all his people. So when Joseph's brothers arrived, they bowed down to him with their face to the ground. As soon as Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger and spoke harshly to them. "Where do you come from?" he asked them. "From the land of Canaan," they replied, "to buy food." Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him because they had seen Joseph since he was a teenager. They did not recognize Joseph. They remember his dream. Then Joseph remembered his dream. He told them and said to them, "You are spies." So Joseph said, "You are spies. You have come to see where our land is unprotected." You know? And they answered to them, "No, my Lord, we are not spies. Your servant come to buy. We came to buy food. We are all sons of one man. Your servant are honest men, not spies. We are honest men, Joseph. Sir, we are not spies," they said. You know, "You have come to see where our land is unprotected." But they replied, "We are 12 brothers, the son of one man who lived in the land of Canaan. The youngest is now with our father and is no more." Joseph said to them, It is just as I told you, you are spies, and this is how you will be tested. As surely as Pharaoh lives, you will not leave this place unless your youngest brother come here. Send one of your numbers to get your brother, the rest of you were kept in prison, so that your words may be tested. So Joseph said, "Okay, you want me to believe you're not spies? One of you going to go and bring your little brother and bring him here, so I will believe you." And then he put them all in the custody for 3 days. So he put them all in jail for 3 days. So they were in jail for 3 days, like, "Man, when are we going to get out of here? We need to go home." So on the third day, Joseph said to them, "Do this, you will live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers stay here in prison while the rest of you go and take grain back for your starving household." So this is okay. All right, so one of you is going to stay here, and the rest of you could go take grain, buy grain, take grain to your household so you guys don't starve. But you must bring a younger brother to me, so that your words may be verified and you will not die. So this they proceed to do. They said to one another, "Surely we are being punished." So they're like, "Oh man," they realize that we are being punished because of our brothers. "We saw how distressed he was, and he pleaded with us for his life, but we would not listen." So they're like, look. They're saying, "Look at what we are now. Look at what position we are now. Look what we did to Joseph, our brother, because we did. Look at this." So then Reuben said, did I tell you not to sin against the Lord? Did I tell you not to sin against the Lord? Did I tell you? But you would not listen. Now we must give an account for his blood. They did not realize that Joseph could understand them since he was using it. And so Joseph was using an interpreter who could speak Hebrew, so they cannot recognize him. So Joseph, when he heard that, Joseph turned away. He began, Joseph, it was too much. Joseph, the Bible said Joseph started to weep. He started to cry because too much. But then he came back and spoke to them again, and he had said, Simeon, take from them and bow before their eyes. Joseph gave orders to fill the bag with grain, to put money, to put each silver back in the sack. So Joseph said, he told Simeon, fill the sack with grain, but give them their money. He didn't take their money. He refused to take their money. He didn't take their money, you know. So they loaded their donkeys with grain and left. At the place where they stopped for the night, one of them opened his sack to feed the donkey and saw the silver in the mouth of the sack. They saw that money was put back. And they said, whoa, who returned the silver? They're like, uh-oh, you know. Their hearts sank and they turned each other trembling and said, what is this guy has done to us? So like, wait a minute. They all opened and said, like, wait a minute, money was returned. Wait a minute. They were afraid. They're thinking that, oh my gosh, what God has done to us. Oh my goodness. Really, they're going to think that Pharaoh's going to, he said, the government's going to think we stole. So when they came back to Joseph, the land of Canaan, Jacob, all that happened to them. They said the man who is Lord over the land spoke harshly to us and treated us as though we were spying on the land. But we said we are honest men. We are not spies. We are 12 brothers, son of one father. One is no more, and the youngest is now with our father in Canaan. And the man who is Lord over the land said to us, this is how I will know whether you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me and take food, your starving household, and go. And bring your youngest brother to me. I will know that you are not spies, but honest men. Then I will give your brother back to you, and he could trade the land. As they were emptying their sack, there in each man's sack was his patch of silver. When they and their father saw the money pouch, they were frightened. They were scared, like, oh my goodness. Jacob said to them, you have deprived me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is no more. And now you want to take my Benjamin? Everything is against me. And Reuben said to his father, you may put both of my sons to death if I do not bring Reuben back to you. Entrust him with my care, Father. Entrust Benjamin to my care. I will bring him back to you. But Jacob said, my son will not go there. Joseph said, no. Jacob said, no. Reuben, Benjamin will not go there. Your brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm comes to him on the journey you are taking, you'll bring my gray head down to the grave in sorrow. So Jacob said, no, you are not taking my only son, my son Benjamin, to Egypt. So then what happened to him, I will surely die of great sorrow. You will not take him. Reuben said, take my son if I not bring him back safely. But Israel said no. Now the famine was still severe in the land. When they had eaten all the grain they had brought from Egypt, their father said to them, go back and buy us a little more food. But Judah said to him, the man warned us sermon. He said, but the governor warned us, you will not see my face again unless you bring your brother with you. If you will send our brother along with us, we will go down and buy food for you. But if you will not send him, we will not go down, because the man said to us, you will not see my face again unless your brother is with you. Israel asked, why do you bring this trouble on me by telling this man you have another brother? They replied, the man questioned us closely about our son and family. Is your father still living? He asked us, do you have any other brother? We simply answered his question. How are we to know? He will say, bring your brother down here. Then Judah said to Israel, his father, send the boy along with me. and we'll go at once, so that we and you and your all children may live and not die. I myself guarantee his safety, Reuben said. You can hold me personally responsible for him. If not, do not bring him back to you and send him here before you. I will bear the blame before you all my life. As it is, if we had not delayed, we could have gone and returned twice. And the father Israel said to them, if it must be, then do this. Put some of the best product of the land in your bag. Take them down to the men as a gift. A little balm, a little honey, and spices of myrrh, some pistachio nuts and almonds. So Israel, Jacob got a bunch of gifts like almond spices and myrrh to give to the governor, not a gift to say thank you and to show mercy. A little honey and pistachio, and take double the amount. So he gave him double amount of silver with you for you must return silver that was put back into the mouth of your sack. Perhaps it was a mistake. Take your brother and also go back to the man at once, and may God Almighty grant you mercy before the man, so that he will let your other brother and Benjamin come with you. As for me, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved. So that man took the gift and double the amount of silver, and Benjamin also. They hurried, so the brothers hurried back to Egypt and present themselves to Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin, he said to the steward of his house, take these men to my house, slaughter the animal, and prepare a meal they are to eat with me at noon. The man did as Joseph told them, and they took the men to Joseph's houses. Now the men were frightened when they were taken to his house. They thought, they were brought here because of the silver that put back. And so they thought, oh man, now we'll be punished because of the silver. He wants to attack us and overpower us and seize us as slaves and take our donkeys. So they went up to Joseph and steward and spoke to him at they entered the house. We beg you pardon, O Lord. They said, we came down here the first time by food, but at the place where we stopped for the night, we opened our sack, and each of us found this silver, the exact weight, the mouth of his sack. So he brought it back with us. We have also brought additional silver with us to buy food. We don't know who brought silver back. So they were scared. They're like, please, sir, take it back. When we left, we saw the original silver was returned to us. We know what happened. So we brought additional money. Please forgive us. They were scared because they thought they're gonna get killed, or they're gonna be they're gonna be the governor's they're gonna be the governor's slave. The steward said, it's all right. He said, don't be afraid. Your God or your father has given you treasure, your son. I will see your steward. Then he brought Simeon out to them. So he brought Simeon. The steward took the men to Joseph's house, gave them water to wash their feet, and provided fathers for their donkey. They had prepared their gift for Joseph arrived at noon because they had heard they were to eat there. When Joseph came home, they presented to him the gift they had brought into the house. They bowed down before him to the ground. He asked them how they were, and he said, how is your age, father, you told me about? Is he still living? They replied, our father is alive and well. And they bowed down, prostrating themselves before him. He looked about saw his brother Ben, his own mother's son. He asked, is this your youngest brother? The one you told me about? He said, God be gracious to you, my son. Deeply moved at the sight of his brother, Joseph hurried. So deeply moved, Joseph hurried out and looked for a place to weep. So Joseph couldn't believe. Joseph was so much full emotion, how much Benjamin has grown. He ran out of that room and then he cried. He went to his private room and he wept there. After he washed his face, he came out and controlling himself and said, serve the food. They served him by himself, the brothers by himself, and the Egyptian who ate with them by themselves, because Egyptian could not eat with Hebrews. For that is distasteful to Egyptian. The men had been seated before him in order of their age. So each will sit as they know by the age, like you this there, you this there, etc. From the firstborn to the youngest, they looked at each other in astonishment. When portions were served to them from Joseph's table. Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as anyone else. So they feasted and drank freely with him. So Benjamin had much. So Benjamin had how much has had much food than his brothers. They're like, they didn't care like that. We're just gonna eat. Then Joseph said to himself, put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest one's sack, but the silver is for his grain. And so Joseph had a plan. He's going to test his brother. He said to his cupbearer, put my cup into Benjamin's sack along with the silver of his grain. So all the put in there. As morning dawned, the men were sent on their way with their donkeys. They had not gone far from the city when Joseph said to his steward, go after those men at once. When you catch them catch them up with them, to them, why have you repaid why have you paid good with evil? Isn't the cup my master drink from the also used for divination? This is wicked. This is wicked. Then you have done. When he caught up with them, he repeated those words to them. They said to him, why does my Lord say such thing? He said, why does my Lord say this thing? Far be it from your servant to do things like that. We have brought back to you from the land of Canaan several we find inside the mouth of a sack. So why would we steal several gold from your master's house? If any of your servant is found to have it, he will die, and the rest of us will become our Lord's slave. Very well, he said. Very well, the steward said, let it be, you say. Whoever to have will become my slave. The rest of you will be free from blame. Each of them quickly lowered their sack, and they opened it. Then the steward is looking through each sack, searching, beginning with the oldest, ending with the youngest. So the steward looking through the sack, okay, for the cup, okay, you, okay, you. And the cup, guess what, was found in Benjamin's sack. As this, they tore their clothes. The brothers come with it. They all fell on the floor. They tore their clothes. Like they couldn't believe it. They tore their clothes going crazy. And they all loaded their donkey, returned to the city. They all returned back to Egypt. Joseph was still in the house with Judah, and his brother came in. They threw themselves to the ground before they threw themselves to just said to them, what is this have you done? Now you know that a man like me find things out by my definition. Can we say to my Lord? Judah replied, what can we say? How can we prove our innocence? God has uncovered your servant's guilt. We are now my Lord's slave. We ourselves and the one who have found to the cup. But Jesus said, far be it from me to do such thing. Only the man who was found to have the cup will become my slave. He said, no. Joseph said, no, Benjamin will become my slave. The rest of you go back to your father in peace. Then Judas went back to him and said, Pharaoh, he said, pardon your servant, my Lord. Let me speak a word to my Lord. Do not be angry with your servant, though. You are equal to Pharaoh himself. But my Lord asked his servant, do you have a father or a brother? And we answer, we have an aged father. And there is a young son born to him in his old age. His brother is dead. They're saying Joseph is dead. And he is the only one of his mother's son left. His father loves him. He said that Benjamin is the only one left, born of his first love. Please, they're saying. Then you said to your servant, bring him down to me so I can see him for myself. And we said to my Lord, the boy cannot leave his father. If he leaves his father, he will die. But you told your servant, unless your youngest brother come down with you, you will not see my face again. When we went back to your servant, my father, we told him, my Lord, he said that our fathers go back and buy more food, but we said we cannot go down without our youngest brother. We cannot see the man face unless our youngest brother is with us. The servant, my father, said to us, you know that my wife before me bore me 2 sons. One of them went away from me. And I said, he has surely been torn to pieces. And I've said, and I have not seen him since. If you take this one from me, too, and harm come to him. You will bring my gray head down to the grave of misery. So they were speaking to Joseph, you cannot go back to a father without Benjamin. You know, he is beloved by father. Our father will surely die. My father entrusted me the safety of Benjamin. I trusted I promised my father, I give my word, I will bring Benjamin back. Please, they're saying, they're pleading to Joseph. So now if the boy is not with us, then I'll go back to your servant, my father whose life is closely bound with the boy's life, sees that the boy isn't there, he will die. The son of Joseph, the son of Jacob will die. Your servant will bring the gray head of our father down to a grave in sorrow. Your servant guaranteed the boy to safely to my father. I say, if I do not bring him back to you, I will bear the blame before my father all my life. Now then, please let your servant remain here as my Lord's slave in place of the boy, and let the boy return with his brothers. Now I go back to my father. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? Do not let me see the misery that will come, my father. So he's saying, please, I will be a slave in place of Benjamin. Let Benjamin go back to our father. Please, do not let my father, do not let me go through this misery to my father. Please, they're pleading with Joseph. And Joseph could no longer hold himself. He could no longer control himself. Before his tenant, he cried out. He yelled, to leave me, leave my presence. So there was no one with him, with Joseph. So there was no one with Joseph. When he made himself known to his brother, and he wept so loudly just to hurt him, Pharaoh's household heard all about it. Joseph said to his brother, I am Joseph. Is my father still living? But his brother were not able to answer him because they were terrified. They were terrified like that. And then Joseph said to his brother, come close to me. When they had done, he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed. Do not be angry with yourself for selling me here, because it was to save life that God sent me ahead of you for 2 years, because it was for 2 years now there has been famine in the land. For the next 5 years there will be no plowing reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth to save your life by great deliverance. So Joseph couldn't no longer, he wept loudly. He said to his brothers, it's me, brothers. I am Joseph. It's me. Don't worry, that you sold me to Egypt. It was God's plan that I'm here to save the world from hunger. It was God's plan so the world will be saved from hunger. It was God's plan so you be here today. I came ahead of you, So he said to Abraham, it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh, Lord of his entire household, and rule all Egypt. Now I hurried back to my father and said to him, this is what your son Joseph said. God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down to me. Don't delay. You shall live in Ryan. You shall reach in Goshen and be near me. You, your children, your grandchildren, your flock, your herd, all of you have. He said, come. He said, go. He said, go home and tell my father that I'm alive, that I rule Egypt. Come to Egypt. He said, come, all the Israelites, all the Hebrew, come down here and live with me. He said, I will take care of you. I'll provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household all will be destitute. You can't see for yourself at all. So can my brother. You can see for yourself, and so can my brother Benjamin, that it is really I who is speaking to you. Tell my father that all the honor accord me in Egypt, about everything you have seen, and bring my father down here quickly. And he threw his arm, his brother, he threw his arm his brother, and Benjamin, he wept. He so cried. He cried and cried. And Benjamin embraced them, weeping. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterward, his brothers talked with them. When this news reached Pharaoh's place that Joseph's brothers had come, Pharaoh and his archbishop were pleased and said to Joseph, tell birds, do this, load your animals, and return to the land of Canaan. and bring your father and your family back to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt. So Pharaoh said, tell your brothers, go back to Canaan and bring your father in every household. I'll give them the best of Egypt, everything land. They can have it all. No, this is what God. And he also directed to them, do this, take some cart from Egypt for your children, your wife, and get your father and come. Never mind about your belonging, because the best of Egypt will be yours. So the sons of Israel did this. Joshua gave them carts of Pharaoh has commanded, and he also gave them provision for their journey. To each of them, he gave news, clothing, but to Benjamin, he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes. And this is what he sent to his father: 10 donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and other provision for his journey. He sent his brother away, and as they were leaving, said to them, don't be cruel on the way. So they went out of Egypt and came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They had told him, Joseph is there. Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt. Jacob was stunned. He was like, what? He did not believe them. This is like, what? Joseph was alive? But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, when he saw the cart Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father, Jacob, revived. And Israel said, I am convinced my son Joseph is alive. I will go see him before I die. Wow. Wow. This is why I love the story of Joseph. And Joseph, of all, could have seek revenge, for what he did, for what his brother did to him. They hated him because he was the father's favorite, and because he had a dream. But Joseph chose to forgive his brothers. He forgave them. He forgave them and said, it was not you who brought me, it was God who brought me here. It was God who brought me here to save the world of hunger, the famine. I'll send ahead of you. Don't worry. Don't worry. This is a great story. That's why I love Joseph. He's one of my favorite persons in the Bible because it's a great story about Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, some of us, because some of us have a Joseph, and some of us are a Joseph, where we've been betrayed by someone we loved, who didn't like us or hate us for this reason, that did something to us. You feel like, I can't forgive them, I still seek revenge. But learn from this story of Joseph, of redemption, that God has a plan. Trust God no matter what anyone does to you. Trust God and have faith in him. God will get you through it all. Joseph, with all he went through, God was with him. Through all this he went through, with God, blessed him so much that he had favor with Potiphar, the chief captain, and the prison warden. He gained favor through all of them because I saw how Joseph would carry himself, how blessed he was, how hard he worked. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great message. I hope you are blessed by it. Let's say a quick prayer. Dear Father, thank you again for this day. Thank you for this Sabbath day. Thank you for blessing us, Lord, with this word, with your message, Lord. Dear Lord, I pray, Lord, whoever listens to this will be blessed by it, Lord. Because some of us, Lord, are Joseph. Someone done wrong to us. They teach us, Lord, to forgive, not only to forgive, but to stay faithful to God. Because through all our trials and tribulation, we should still trust God and have faith. He get us through it all. Oh Lord, I pray, bless each one of us this day. And just because I pray him in heaven. Amen. Well, everyone, thank you again. I hope you learned something and you're blessed by this message as much as I am. I'll see you again next week. Another great topic. Have a blessed Sabbath and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.